Hello everybody. A major challenge that many students face is in the reading comprehension. And reading comprehension is a challenge basically because you're given a lot of material to read, and from that you have to take a certain question, find the right answer and be able to pinpoint that this is the right answer. So what we have devised is to make it simple for you, to make it easy for you to find the right answer. And in any exam, the reading comprehension is not about answering the question, because you don't have a leisure period of time that you can read it for probably an hour and answer 2 or 3 questions. So the challenge is not only about answering the question, but the challenge lies in managing the time and getting the right answers at the right time. So what we have done is we have devised a method that once you start using it, over a period of time, you get comfortable to answer questions. Now basically when you start reading comprehension, there are certain steps that you should be doing. For example, the steps I will outline on the board. Step number 1 is read instruction. This is a challenge for many of us because we are so determined to answer the questions from the reading comprehension that we fail to follow the instruction. So it's very important that first we get the instruction. Know what the question is demanding of you. What does the reading comprehension want you to do? So once you read the instruction, you get a clearer idea that you have so many number of questions and you have so many minutes to answer these questions. Step number 2 is read the questions. Why am I saying read the questions first? If you're going to read the passage, imagine a situation, you read the passage first and then you read the question. Will you be able to answer that question without going back to the passage? Most probably not. So what you do is you go back to the passage. So you're reading the passage the second time. So the first reading is nullified, means you have wasted time reading the first passage. And when you read the question, you are actually focused. You know, it becomes active reading. You know why you are reading, what is the purpose you are reading, and what is the information that you want to search. Once you have that in your mind, then you become an active reader. You're searching, your mind is active, trying to get the information that the question asks you to get. So read the question. Step number 3, rephrase. Rephrase the question. Now why am I saying rephrase the question? If you are able to rephrase the question, it means you have understood the question. If you don't understand the question, no matter how easy or how difficult the passage is, you will never be able to answer it correctly. So rephrase the question, put it in your own words. For example, maybe in the question there is a word, a keyword that says 7 days. Now if you are going to search the reading passage and say, okay, I am going to scan the passage for 7 days. You will scan the whole passage and you may not find 7 days. But probably you have a week that is synonym to 7 days, a week. Or maybe in the question you're looking for family or management. Look for alternative words. So when you rephrase the question, it shows that you have understood the question, and that is half the job well done. Next, scan the passage for keywords. I generally ask students, if you have a house and you lock the door, you have a very strong teakwood door, maybe with an iron grill, and you have a big lock with a big key. What keeps the house safe? Is it the door that keeps the house safe? Or do you think it is the lock that keeps the house safe? Most probably you select one of those. But then both play a role, but the bigger role is played by the key. And that is why we always keep the keys in our pocket. In the same way, when you're doing a reading comprehension, the question is important, the passage is important. You cannot do comprehension without these two. But the key is the most important ingredient to get the right answer. So scan the passage for keywords. So as you read rephrase the question, try to see what is it that I'm going to search. What is it that I'm going to search? Once you identify that, then you search for that what in the passage. Once you scan the passage, then you try to understand that. And how do you understand that? There is a method that we call it as the verb method. I will illustrate that to you, the verb method. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to write a sentence on the board and then we are going to analyze this sentence. For example, yesterday Raj sent a book by courier to Annu in Bangalore for her to prepare for the exams. So the sentence is, yesterday Raj sent a book by courier to Annu in Bangalore for her to prepare for the exams. It looks like a loaded sentence. So what we do is, as this is called the verb method, we identify the first verb, that is sent, and remove every other data from the sentence. So you have the first verb. Around it, you ask these questions. Who sent? Probably know the answer by now. Sent what? I am sure you know the answer. Sent when? Sent why? Sent where? Sent how? Ask these 5 W questions and 1 H question. Who, to know the subject. What, to know the object. When, to know the time factor. Why, to know the reason. Where, to know the location. How, to know the method. Basically, any sentence covers these points. I'm not saying that every sentence you will be able to get all these answers. Maybe 5, maybe 3, but whatever you get, it means you have understood it correctly. And when you ask these questions, you are actually saving this data in a correct file in your brain. And when you ask the question, when you open it with the key, you are opening the correct locker, you get the information. So this is one concept that you can use in your reading comprehension. But is something that we take for granted is actual reading. When we read it, if you don't read it correctly, we are confusing our brain. If the input is wrong, believe me, the output will be wrong. So reading correctly is an important factor in your reading comprehension. For example, I promise you today we will go for a movie. If I ask you, when are they going for a movie? If you read this sentence, I promise you today we will go for a movie, then they are going today. But if I read, I promise you today we will go for a movie, obviously today. But if I read, I promise you today we will go for a movie. So the promise is made today. We will go for a movie when, that I am not promising you the date. Probably you need to have a comma either here or there. It will alter the meaning. But imagine there is a comma, but you don't stop where you have to stop. You read it at your own way of reading. You read like probably, I promise you today. What are you doing? Your input to the brain, you are confused. And because the brain now is confused, the output will also be confused. So a very important factor in reading comprehension is to read correctly. That is, like when you read it correctly, you are clarifying the thoughts, you are clarifying the ideas to your brain. And when you ask the brain to give back to you a feedback, then it manages to give you the correct feedback. So this is one method that we encourage people to use. I have another tip, maybe on the other video. Thank you.